Hello, gremlins. It was PT day, so I was up very, very early, and so was Krista. Though, congratulations to Krista. She has graduated physical therapy, so she does still have to do exercises at home, but she doesn't have to go back to any physical therapy appointments, and she's been going since January. It's been a long time. Actually, December. It had to have been December, right? Oh gosh, I can't even remember. Time is nebulous, but she's been going for a very long time. So she's very excited. She has officially passed. I have 3 scheduled PT appointments. I'll get into that, I guess, really quick in case you're new here. And then I have a post-op. So if you are new here, I will consistently have gauze on these 2 fingers. And this is because I got into an accident with a snowblower, and I lost parts of my fingers. So I am missing technically the top of my middle finger, the tip, to the joint, though when that happens they attempt to construct a pad for you so that you have something that you can push. So I have like a fake tip that's been created by a doctor, and then my middle finger, my ring finger, I lost the top of my tip, and so they just kind of like sew that together and let that heal. So these 2 fingers are shorter than they were prior to the snowblower accident. So again, I will always have gauze on these fingers. It will be like this for a while. I don't know when I'll not have gauze on them, but I will have gauze on them consistently for the next little while until they're healed enough to not have gauze on them. So there you go. That's why I have gauze on my fingers. They will just be like this. I can't really hold a lot of things in this hand. I can type with this hand. I have a little device that I sometimes will be wearing. You might see it in the video. I call him Eric because it looks like the Phantom of the Opera mask. And it's like a brace that I can put my hand in. But that's the housekeeping out of the way, if you're new here and don't know. So yeah, so that's life for me. And Krista broke her finger, so she did not lose bits of herself, but she did have like a whole surgery and there were pins and things. But now that that's out of the way, you know all the things, you know what, there's gauze here, you know why I'm talking about physical therapy. Also, yes, I am still bruised from my surgery. That was on, oh gosh, February 23rd, I think, somewhere in there. 23rd, maybe, I don't know. Dates are a mess for me right now. But I'm still bruised because, they numbed my entire hand with lidocaine so I could be awake for the surgery, and so you will also notice some massive bruising that has not gone away. I bruise very easily and the bruising just will not go away. So again, additional housekeeping, that's done. The actual vlog, this is very spur of the moment because 1, Krista took me book shopping. We went on a little day date in the last video and I got the book Say a Little Prayer, which everyone at Barnes & Noble was freaking out about. Like, the person at the check was like, that book is so good. I only have 80 pages left and all I want to do is finish it. So this is a queer book. I will read you a brief synopsis. The front of it says love is patient, love is kind, love is gay, which I think is lovely. So the brief synopsis of Say a Little Prayer, which I love this cover, is Riley quietly left church a year ago when she realized there was no place for a bi girl in her congregation. But it wasn't until the pastor shunned her older sister for getting an abortion that she really wanted to burn it all down. It's just her luck then that she sent to the principal's office for slapping a girl talking smack about her sister. And in order to avoid suspension, she has to spend spring break at church camp. The only saving grace is that she'll be there with her best friend Julia, even if Julia's dad is the pastor and he's in charge of camp. But Riley won't let a technicality like repenting get in the way of her true mission. Instead of spending a week embracing the 7 heavenly virtues, she decides to commit all 7 deadly sins. If she can show the other campers that sometimes being a little bad is for the greater good, she could start a righteous revolution. What could possibly go wrong, aside from falling for the pastor's daughter? So I am very, very excited about this. The other reason this vlog is happening is Go Luck Yourself, the second Christmas book. So around Thanksgiving I read The Nightmare Before Christmas, which was the queer romance with one of the princes of Christmas and the prince of Halloween. And there's a sequel with the other prince of Christmas and I believe a prince of St. Patrick's Day, but I did not think I would be able to get a hold of it. My library, I think, may have a physical copy, but sometimes you can't request stuff if it's too new. So I just kind of like put it out of my mind. I was like, oh, I'll read it later. It's on Kindle Unlimited. It is on Kindle Unlimited. So I want to read it because St. Patrick's Day is on Monday. So we're reading Say a Little Prayer first because I'm really, really excited for that. And then we're reading Go Luck Yourself. I'll give you details on that one. And then I'm just going to be reading a bunch of random queer romance on Kindle Unlimited because I've borrowed a lot and I haven't read them. So this is going to be mostly a Kindle Unlimited queer romance vlog, but we're also going to be reading Say a Little Prayer, which is a physical book. But I gotta go. Work is about to start. Just wanted to fill you in on things. I'm also wearing this very cozy Common Love sweatshirt. But yeah, so get ready for a lot of queer romance, gremlins, because it is gonna be fun. Hello. It is the end of the workday, and I may look extra blue because I'm restarting my work computer right now, but finally end of the day. I'm finally at the weekend. Oh, look, now my monitor's went off. There we go. The lighting in my office is super weird. Anyway, so during my lunch, I was able to read some of Say a Little Prayer, and oh my gosh. So Jenna Voris, I'm hoping that's how you said that. Did you write this for me? Did you just like know who I was? And you were like, Catherine, a random bisexual from Ohio, raised Catholic, would love this. Oh my gosh. So the book is not fully set in Ohio, but our character lives in Ohio, goes to school in Ohio. Oh, look, I'm blue again because my computer's turning back on. There are Ohio State references. Her best friend, Julia, from the back, is actually a fraternal twin. And as a fun fact, my younger siblings are fraternal twins. They are boy-girl fraternal twins, just like in this book. And the descriptions of the two of them are so weirdly similar to the twins in this. Again, set in Ohio. They, I think, are in a Dayton suburb, which I've been to Dayton. Dayton is actually where I got my wedding dress. But it's set in Dayton, and then the book moves to Kentucky. So what happens in this, I did read you the description. After slapping this girl who was previously friends with her sister, the only way that our main character, Riley, I had to make sure that I said the right name. There are a few names so far. Riley can like still do Shrek the Musical because her school is doing Shrek the Musical and she's Donkey. She can still do the musical and like not have to do this like whole suspension-y thing, is for her to go to Baptist church camp. So her next door neighbor and best friend, Julia, she and her brother go every year. It's run by their pastor father, who runs a Baptist church that her family used to go to. They did go to it until the events with her sister that are mentioned, where the mom in the book says took her sister to Cleveland, came back, and then like there were rumors, and then her sister was basically kicked out of the church. She had not really been going to church, Riley, because she just like she didn't want to be there, even though her family had kind of still been going off and on. She just didn't want to go. She kind of fell out with the church, and a lot of it is the messaging of the church. She doesn't like the consistent "you're going to hell" rhetoric for getting services that you need, for being gay, all of these things. And she's like, I am not going to church. So she hasn't gone to church, but she has to go to this church camp because she says the school is kind of crappy because they basically let a lot of church things occur. Church is really taken into account. And so like they partner with the church on things. And so going to this camp will count because they work so closely with the church. It's a pillar of their community. And she's like, ugh. So we've gotten to the point where we learn that the camp, there's like a theme for the camp. So that's why Riley is going to commit 7 deadly sins, because the camp is doing 7 virtues that are the opposite of the sins. And so she's basically trying to do the opposite of the lessons the camp is doing to prove that the pastor is a jerk. She's like, I'm going to prove that these sins aren't bad. Like, you can do them without being like sinful and going to hell. And you don't have to follow just the virtuous path. Nothing is black and white. Everything is gray. So that's really interesting. But we are seeing hints that she does really have feelings for her best friend. They're very, very close. They're very touchy. And she's like, I really wish that like she would have feelings for me. But she's very sure her friend is straight. Now, I'm really hoping she's not. But her friend is raised very religious and is supposed to be like a pillar of the community, at least in her friend's eyes. Her twin brother is kind of a more loosey-goosey, do whatever he wants kind of kid. And so like he doesn't really see that the same way. Like he's not focused on like being the perfect member of their congregation. And it's just like, this is absolutely freaking perfect. Like I'm just like, what is this? Who made this? Did she like see my life and then make a book? I never went to church camp. Though I did stop going to youth group because, if you don't know, Catholics typically, the Roman Catholic Church, is very like pro-life. And I was going to a youth group that met on Sunday nights. You went to a special service that had really cool music. I did like the music. I always liked the music, even when I wasn't practicing. I still went to church with my mom to play bells and to sing in the choir because they needed people. And it was a fine time. Like I enjoy singing and I did bells because I was asked to, but I do enjoy singing, so I would go to choir even though I didn't really care about going to church. But the youth group, I'll just throw this in here as an aside. I stopped going because they did what was supposed to be like a pro-life night, and it was very weird. And they basically had you write a thank you letter to your parents for not choosing to get rid of you. It was basically like, thanks for not aborting me letters, which is baffling to me. Like, I was sitting there and I was like, this is the weirdest damn thing. They had also done a fake funeral where you had to like look into a casket and like, or a coffin. I don't remember the difference. There is a difference. There was like a mirror in it and I was like, this is weird as frick. Like, what are we doing in this church basement? So like, we did this. We're like sitting in the church. You're supposed to sit quietly, listen to music, and like write this letter. And I was like, I'm not friggin' writing this letter. This is absolutely nuts. Especially because my parents were very clear in the discussion of like how I came to exist. Like, my parents had planned to have a child because I was a very nosy kid. So like by the time I got to high school, I had asked about like, oh, did you always want to have more than one kid? Did you want to have kids? Like, I was asking lots of questions, and my parents were like, no, we wanted to have a kid. We really tried to have you. And then like, we had you and it was great because we were like planning to have you. And then they also planned to have my siblings. So like this whole time I was like, it's not like we were all like born in circumstances where that was even a thought that crossed our parents' minds. So I was like, why would I write a letter to thank them when I know that they family planned? And they were like, yes, we're going to have a baby. That baby will be born around now. That baby will be planned. Like, I was like, this is baffling. And then like my mom picked me up and I literally was like, I'm never going back. She was like, what happened? Like, she was freaking out, and I was like explaining to her, and she was like, that is bizarre. Like, she was like, why would they do that? And even she was baffled. And I was like, I'm not going back. I'm not. So I never went back to that youth group because I was like, what is wrong with you? And I was just like, there is a complete, like, every situation is different. And thus, why? Why? And so I was like super uncomfortable, did not go back, ever. I didn't even go to that church again, actually, because that church was near, and the church my parents went to was slightly farther away, but it was like a church we've been going to for a while. We went to this other church for a little bit, and then we went back to that church, but the youth group only met at one church. So like, I just stopped going to that church altogether. They're all Roman Catholic. They were all part of the same branch of churches. Like, they were all connected to each other. They were not the diocese is a larger thing, but they were that like area set of churches. So they were all like connected Catholic churches. They did events together and stuff. But I just stopped going to that one. Didn't go to any of the youth groups again. So like, while the situation is different, I did stop going because of like thoughts on pro-life choices that the church was making. And this is also very similar to the Baptist church in this book, because they're shunning basically someone who had an abortion because she refuses to like repent for having gotten the service that she needed, because she's a young kid. She's maybe 18. I think she's 18. She's a ballerina. She's going to college. Like, she has plans, and now is not the time for her to have a baby. And I'm gonna guess there was an accident. Just a guess. I don't know. They haven't gotten into that at all. But like, sometimes things happen that are not planned, and you can't go forward with that. But yeah, so that tangent aside, I am really, really enjoying the book. I love all the characters. It is freaking incredible, and I feel like Miss Voris read my mind, stole this book from inside my brain somehow. I would not have written this book. I'm just saying, like, she was like, there is someone who will adore this book. She exists, and I will write this bi character going to church camp who's anti-pastor, and I'm just like eating it up. I'm eating this book up. The persons at Barnes & Noble who were like, it is so good, were completely correct. I'm going to finish this book tonight. But yes, but where I am, she's made the plan. She's done some of the sins. I'm not going to tell you which ones. We've gotten some fun moments with her and her friend. We've met some other people, and we're getting some curious teasing about some people being more complex than we may have thought. So yeah, that is it. I think that's my big update. I'm gonna go because I need to situate the dogs. I also really need to get like water or something. It's actually warm today, so my sweatshirt is probably a little heavy, but I'm gonna change into pajamas because Krista has night court, and I'm just gonna be hanging out with some of the dogs. I can't fit. I can fit. But with my hand, I can't really do all the dogs in like a big group playtime thing. So I have to sort of separate them into groups. So 2 of them are coming up to hang out with me, and we're going to watch probably Holiday Baking Championship because it's very chill and they don't really care about it. And I will read and finish this book because I really want to finish it today. I may have to finish it tomorrow, but like, I really want to finish it today. But I'm going to go. I will talk to you later when I have updates about this truly incredible novel that I am loving so much. This is probably going to be my favorite queer romance of all time. Just cause. Also, while I'm talking still, I literally like got this in a copy of Camp Damascus. I've already read Camp Damascus. It is one of my favorite horror books, and favorite queer books, but I basically was like, so Camp Damascus is like the horror version of this book and you should get it. And they were like, what? And one of the people working took a picture of the book and I was like, oh, but there's bugs. So she was just like, oh, good to know, good to know, good to know. But really, Camp Damascus is the horrifying version of this. Truly horrifying, but it's so freaking good. If you haven't read Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle, you need to do it. I'm just telling you. I'm gonna reread it this year. Probably in June. I haven't decided yet. At some point this year, I'm rereading it. But I'm gonna change and grab something to drink and chill with the dogs. And I feel like my nose turned bright red for some bizarre reason. But anyway, I'm gonna go. I will talk to you later, gremlins. And just know that while we are apart, I am truly enjoying this book with all of my being. My bisexual, Midwestern, chaotic youth is just embodied in this book. With some references to TikTok, and I've never been on TikTok, but still, my essence is tied to this book right now, and it is truly giving me life. I'll talk to you later. Good morning, gremlins. Is this a good angle? Can I put you... Let's go... Oh, that'll work. Perfect. Hi, gremlins. Oh, my hair is doing a thing. So it is very early. Krista has court. She's on call this weekend. Well, today, not tomorrow, thankfully. But she is like on call, so she has court this morning. And I went with her because we're gonna get breakfast after. So I thought, while she was in court, one, I want to show off my adorable Harley and Ivy holiday. Well, it's a Valentine's Day shirt. And while technically nothing I'm reading, ooh, I am gonna read a Valentine's book. Very tiny one, but not first. So while I'm in the car waiting for her to be done, I thought I would talk about the book I finished. This incredible book called Say a Little Prayer. I love this book so much. It is just so good. Again, it is YA, so it's not like gonna be steamy. This is not exactly, there's a little kissing, but definitely not steamy. And the ending was just really well done. I will say, I think it really encapsulates like Midwestern religious area, how you kind of survive in that environment as a queer person. So I'm going to say that, but we get a very cute scene and there's a Taco Bell mention, and I just was like, this book was made for me. I absolutely adore this book. You should go out and get this book right away. It was only $12.99 US, which I think is super cheap for a book, but so good, so incredible. Possibly my favorite book of the year. I don't know. This was so good. This was like the epitome of things that I love in a book. So I'm just like so happy about it. It was so freaking good. I desperately had to finish it yesterday because I was like, I have to finish it. I have to know. So freaking good. This one piece of my hair is driving me nuts. But Say a Little Prayer. Incredible. Wonderful. Amazing. Really probably my favorite book of the year. We'll see how that goes. But I have to put it in my list. I have to circle it. Again, I don't star rate books, so just know I really enjoyed it. Now, the book I'm going to read, possibly while Krista's in court, if it takes a little bit, is, I already told you, but I will show you the cover. So, it is a holiday themed book. Oh, I'm in the wrong app. So it is holiday themed. We already talked about this. It is... Oh, my stomach just growled. Sorry. Go Luck Yourself by Sarah Rausch. I think it's Raish, but I'm very excited for this. I don't really have the description for you. So this, again, is the sequel to the Nightmare Before Christmas book, and that follows Chris's brother. So in this one, we have Chris and the Prince of St. Patrick's Day. So I will go to book details and actually give you a description. Oh, I can't because I'm not on the internet. So, you're not getting one. Actually, no, I can get you one. Hold on. All right. So what I remember, I think it's Chris and Patrick. I think his name is Patrick. I could look this up, but, the setup of the series is that ultimately Christmas joy is being like stolen. There are a lot of political elements in this, and in this one, Chris, who is the older brother, I think he's the older brother, from Nightmare Before Christmas, he is going to investigate St. Patrick's Day, and all we know is the Prince of St. Patrick's Day is like very artsy and just, I think it's going to be very cute. The first one I thought was very fun. I just enjoyed it as a fun, kind of fluffy, kind of, there's some sex scenes if I remember, but like just a sort of like fluffy fun time is what I felt. I know some people had like, didn't expect as much politics, but I actually am pro like wild politic things in a book. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm very curious to see how this goes. Chris was a very cute character, and I was actually going to wear a Christmas sweater today, but I decided against it because we were going out and about. But yes, one quirk I remember is he always wears like Christmas pun, like ugly sweater, Christmas kind of stuff, like consistently throughout the year. And he has never had a desire to be in charge of Christmas. It's always been his brother who wanted to be like the next in line. So he wants to be around, but and like be involved, but he does not want to be in charge. So this is like, I feel like his own little side mission-y thing. He also is bisexual, that I remember, because they talk about it. He had a crush on one of their friends, and that's not gonna be a thing. I don't know if there's another book after this, because there was another friend, like there's a woman in this, oh, what is her name? It's probably mentioned in this, but she was like one of the princesses of Easter, and I didn't know if she'd get her own book, but I feel like they said book 2 of 2, so maybe she's just doing the Christmas Brothers and then like other stuff after that. But I'm very curious to see how this goes. But yeah, I'm gonna read in the car until Krista gets here. I am going to move this book so it's not in the top, but oh my god, I love this book so much. I just want to keep gushing about this book, but I'm gonna put it in the back for safety. It'll go back there. But yeah, so I'm gonna read Go Luck Yourself while Chris is in court. I might see if I can play a YouTube video because I have my phone with me, so we shall see. But you're coming to breakfast with us, so be ready for some breakfast content because we're going to this place that's called Beeze's, and it's basically like the Whistle Stop Cafe from Fried Green Tomatoes. So it's very fun, very cute, and the food is really, really good. Also, they have really good coffee, and I desperately need coffee. I haven't had coffee yet. So tired. I took my medicine, I changed my gauze, I got dressed, I put dry shampoo in this mop of hair that wishes to be a mess, and I tried to put eyeliner on, so it looks messy as heck, but I put some on. I'm trying, because I had my brace on, and so I almost poked myself in the eye. I did poke myself in the eye, actually. It was very teen Catherine, or even college Catherine, because I was not particularly good with eyeliner. But I'm gonna go, I'm gonna read. I will talk to you later, gremlins.
Downstairs in the living room.
We're talking about dog things, but behold breakfast. Hello. We did breakfast at Beeze's Depot Cafe, which you saw. I got a sticker. It was only $3 and I thought it would look cute with my other iPad / faux Kindle stickers. We also stopped at Ollie's. We did a ton of errand running. And they had Reckless Girls for $5 and Ace of Spades for $4. So I grabbed both of them. I have heard really good things about Ace of Spades. And I heard mixed things about Reckless Girls, but I'm curious. And it was so cheap that I thought if I wind up not liking this one, or even if I wind up not deciding to keep either of them, I can donate them to my library. And it wasn't like a lot of money that I'd be out. So I grabbed these two and then went to Five Below, not really for us, but Krista's sister really likes strawberry shortcake. So we were getting a bunch of strawberry shortcake stuff to have on hand for like gifts. And we saw this shirt and Krista was like, you have to get it. So one of our cats, Binks, basically looks like a raccoon and acts like a raccoon. And so I got the shirt that says Stay Trashy with a ramen boba tea and assorted trash raccoon on it. So I'm gonna take a photo at some point wearing the shirt with him. And then we got, so our dogs really like these. We got a bunch of Squishmallows for them. They had, they still have Kermit. They had an animal one and they ripped him apart. So we just picked up more. But that's really like a little haul. That book in the far corner is a gift for someone. But yeah, so we ran around like all day. We've been up since 7 and it's almost noon. So we're gonna rest for a little bit because we're both tired. But I just thought it would show my little thing, and I thought this was cute. They had so many stickers, but that one actually has the building, so I thought I would do that one. But yeah, so we're gonna rest a little and I will talk to y'all later. Also, I'm enjoying Go Luck Yourself so far, but I'm very, very minimally in it. So yeah, talk to you later, gremlins. I'm gonna take a nap. Hello, there's really loud ambient music playing downstairs. Krista put it on for the dogs because she's headed to court, though I have 2 of the dogs here, so Parker and Chloe are up here. Kira and Bruni are downstairs. I think I went over this. I can only do like 2 dogs at a time because of my hand and stuff. I'm currently holding you with just my thumb and index finger on my bad hand, so we're gonna talk quick. I'm on chapter 3. I'm really not far in Go Luck Yourself. Also, my hair is crazy. I've had it in a hat, had it out of a hat. We actually wound up running even more errands because we needed to go get some paint. Krista has a bunch of projects she's working on for the house, and she's getting all of her supplies together. So we had to go get more paint, and then we got Taco Bell for lunch because there was a mention of Taco Bell in Say a Little Prayer, and I just want Taco Bell. Oh, I gotta talk fast. My hand is getting very tired. So I'm on chapter 3 of Go Luck Yourself. We have had the meet cute element already. So Lachlan, that is actually St. Patrick's Day boy's name, is Lachlan. He and Chris actually go to the same school. They both go to Cambridge, and they're in a fight over a study room. Like, that happens. It turns out this has been like a long going thing for possibly the entire semester. And Chris actually pranks him, which Chris very rarely does. He uses magic to prank him with tinsel. I won't say how, but a prank occurs. Then the transfer of power happens, which I actually think is in the description. So his brother is supposed to be Santa now, which kind of makes sense. I felt like maybe that's where they were going. We've gotten some updates on Iris's sister because there was supposed to be a wedding and that's been pushed off, but that was mentioned in the first book. But they found something odd on the magic meter, and it's like been siphoning Christmas joy, and it was a clover, like a shamrock. So Park, what are you doing? I'm gonna have to be extra quick. I gotta get him up on the bed. Come here, bub. Okay, there we go. So it was a shamrock. So they're sending, they wind up sending Chris, or going to be sending Chris to St. Patrick Place, because it's not the North Pole. I don't know where he's going. And he's like, oh my gosh, the crown prince is Lachlan, the guy from the study room. So we've gotten that. That's as far as I've gotten. It is cute. It's very heavily still discussing the previous book, which makes sense. This is a sequel, but it's happening like a lot. So this is definitely not a standalone. This is a series. Sometimes you can like standalone read if you want some books and it's not a big problem. But like this one, if you have not read the other one, you will be so confused at the beginning. So definitely a series, very strong series, not standalones in any way. So keep that into account. I'll try not to spoil too much because this is a second book, but like that's the general premise. Chris is going to St. Patrick's Land, and I guess we'll figure out what that is. I'm guessing somewhere in Ireland, but I don't know. So that's happening, even though St. Patrick's Day is not a Christmas holiday, like a winter holiday. But yeah, that's what we've got. Also, Iris has appeared, the person that Chris previously had like a thing for, but not really, he says. It's a whole complicated situation. But she's been back, and I'm really wondering if she's getting a book at some point. I don't know. But I gotta go. My hand is very, very tired, and you can probably tell because it's tilting. But I'm gonna read, I'm gonna hang out with the pups. Oh, and I'm gonna drink this honey pear cider, which is incredible. Last time I drank it out of a corgi teacup, and it was very fun. But it's delicious. I'm gonna drink some because this felt like a book that I should drink a cider with. So I'm gonna do that. But I'll talk to you later, gremlins. Bye for now. Trying not to drop my camera. Hello, gremlins. My hair looks exceedingly worse as the evening goes on. You were balanced on an empty cider can. Krista had to go back to work, so she was able to come home for a little bit, and she just like hung out and we watched some TV. But she had to go back. But I wanted to update you because I'm not yet done with Go Luck Yourself, but I am 70% through. So I wanted to give you a bit of an update on like tropes I think that are important to know before I get to the end. So this is definitely an enemies to lovers story with Locke and Chris. That's basically their names throughout the story. Like really at each other for a while, but it's a lot of tension. It's an enemies to lovers with a very apparent tension going on. On top of that, we do get a lot more politics in this one. So in the first book, a lot of the politics was about Christmas and running Christmas and how Christmas was behaving. There is a similar plot in this, in that Locke is doing a great deal of work for St. Patrick's Day, but there are some issues going on with the court, with an uncle who is the king. So Locke is the like crown prince, but he gave over the king position to his uncle after the death of his father. So his uncle is in charge, and Locke is just kind of like doing his own thing a little bit. And I don't want to elaborate too much because it's kind of a key element to the plot. But Locke trying to really support St. Patrick's Day is a big deal. So that's going on a lot. They're going to a lot of events. It is a little bit similar in the events setup to Hex coming to Christmas in the first one. So there's a lot of stuff already set up. They're supposed to be in front of the press a lot of that. So in that regard, the setup is a little bit similar, but this is definitely enemies to lovers, like really, really pushing it. There's a lot of miscommunication. There's a lot of issues between the two of them. And Chris is also dealing with his own general concerns about life. He's a bit kind of unmoored right now, doesn't really know how he can be helpful, what he can do. And a lot of his personality is tied into how can I help? How can I be useful? And he only really sees himself in how he can be useful to other people because he has a lot of unresolved trauma from their mom. And the mom keeps appearing in this through text, at least so far. And each time that happens, we see Chris sort of panicking or like not sure how to respond. And so there's a lot of familial drama happening there, especially because his dad is doing his own thing in regards to their mom, and it's a choice. We do get a lot of Cole, which I appreciate. I do really love Cole and Hex. I also love Iris. I do think there's a tease for another book happening with Iris. I do feel like that's happening, and there is a character that's been introduced in this book that I could work with, and I think it would be Sapphic, but that's just a guess. But it is very interesting. Oh, Kira's whining. I think Krista's probably about home, hopefully. But at this point in the book, there has been a moment. There was a very steamy scene briefly, but that's been about it. I feel like in Kissmas, there was a lot of steam. There were a lot of scenes. This one is more subdued. There is one, but there is a lot of tension, but that tension comes with like miscommunication, not being sure that something can happen. Whereas Cole and Hex didn't really have this "it can't happen." It was more like, what the hell is happening between them, at least from Cole, because Cole was our protagonist there. So Chris is our protagonist in this one only. These are always single POV. I think if we do get a book for Iris, it will be Iris's POV. But I feel like they're really trying to set that up. I feel like that's the next step here, would be an Iris book, because we're too far in, I think, to give her a plot like on the side, but I could be wrong. But I do think Chris is home. Everyone's barking. But I just want to give you a heads up. I am enjoying it. It is very political again, so I think if that was one of your issues with the first one, the heavy politics, it might also be the same thing for you here. But I am enjoying it because I like the political aspect to the story, and I like that there's like something going on that ties into the romance aspect but is its own kind of thing. So I'm having a fun time. I'm enjoying it. It's a quick read for me, especially on Kindle. I feel like I read faster on Kindle in general. So on my iPad, I read on an iPad. It's not actually a Kindle, but you know what I mean. So I'm reading this pretty fast. I don't know if I'll finish it today or I'll finish it tomorrow, but I have a bunch of other books lined up that I want to read. So this will not be the last book of this vlog. So I'm gonna go because I'm hoping Krista's home, but I will talk to you later, gremlins, when I finish Go Luck Yourself. Hello. Behold Indian food and a cat. So this is my food. This is lots of other bits and pieces. That's Krista's food and that's Krista. We slept in a little bit and then ran around to take the girls to get shots. Everyone's on kind of a similar shot thing, but the boys don't have to go till later. And that's a goose. But we're gonna eat Indian food that we picked up. It took kind of a long time for how slow they were. Like there was no one there and our food took a half hour to get done, if not longer. And we're both really hungry. But I wanted to show you because I don't have like a book update for you. Still at 70%. Gonna finish it tomorrow, I think. Or late tonight. Who knows? But we're gonna watch Temptation Island. Yes?
Yes.
Oh gosh, gotta go. But this is the food and these are the cats and I'll talk to you later. Bye, gremlin. Behold, themed coffee. I also finished this book, so I'll tell you about it when I get a chance later today. So get ready for a recap of Go Luck Yourself / Final Thoughts. But look at the cute cup and the matching Mickey coffee. All right, talk to you later, gremlins. Hello, gremlins. I am wearing green for St. Patrick's Day and I am using this very cute gnome cup. He has a little hat too, but it's to cover the coffee and I'm not taking that off every time I take a sip, but I'm gonna take a sip right now. One sec. Okay, so yes, I'm wearing this. I wore this when I was reading Nightmare Before Christmas too, so that works, but I just don't own a lot of green. I have some green flannels, like one I think. I have one St. Patrick's Day shirt. I know this looks like two, but I have a St. Patrick's Day shirt, but it's cold today and I didn't want to wear a tank top, and it's like a Grogu PJ top that says like, "You're lucky I'm this cute" or something, but I didn't want to wear that today. I had physical therapy before work, so I'm super tired and I'm staying awake with caffeine. Krista went with me. I don't have a license, but I couldn't have driven anyway because of my hand. So like even if I did. So she went with me, she took me, and then she went to work, but she's not feeling great. She had to work 2 double shifts over the weekend. And then she rested some yesterday, but we still had some stuff we had to do. And then she was talking to her boss about taking a half day. And her boss was like, yeah, that's fine. Cause she has sick time. And she like went into her office and then she started coughing and her boss was like, go home. So she actually got sent home. So she's just supposed to like work from home kind of, but I'm trying, she's gonna take a nap. I'm trying to convince her to take a nap. I like turned off all the lights, I made it cozy, so hopefully she sleeps. But I am here to talk to you about Go Luck Yourself, which I finished. So please note, ow! I just hit myself in the finger. This happens. Oh, oof, ow, my finger's already sore from physical therapy. So as a fun fact for my physical therapy, just very quickly, basically I go in and my physical therapist just like bends all of my fingers very intently. He checks all the joints. Like I get my hand kind of like smooshed a lot. So it's really sore because like the 2 tips just get a lot of like push on them that they don't normally, and you normally wouldn't even do in your daily life. Like someone's not like pushing your fingers down, so they're very sore. But I took ibuprofen in advance just in case to help mitigate like swelling and stuff. But finished Go Luck Yourself yesterday. I actually was closer to the end than I thought because there's an excerpt in the back for her next series, but I feel like because this is a royals and romance novel that she could do the Iris book that I want her to do. I don't know if it's happening. There's no excerpt for that. She has not mentioned it to my knowledge, but I feel like she could do it. And she could even, if she wanted to, do 2 books because Easter has 2 sisters. Like it's sisters, much like Christmas has brothers. But I don't know. There's no mention of it. But like they set up a way that they could do it because there's like a wedding that's supposed to happen with Easter and Valentine's Day, and like Iris was talking with someone. So like I feel like it could happen, but I don't know if it's planned. Because the next book is also, oh gosh, I always screw this up. Achillean? Is that it? It's another male romance, I believe. But that has to do with wizards who play D&D. It's an interesting concept. It's not one that I'm super invested in. Like there was another series that had D&D in it, and I just like wasn't, I like D&D. I've never really played it. I played it like one time and I was really bad at it. I'm like not super feeling it. I don't know. But this, okay, so the pacing of this, while I did enjoy this, I did not enjoy it as much as Nightmare Before Christmas, which I was thinking would probably happen just because I'm not really connected to St. Patrick's Day, and Christmas is like my second favorite holiday. So we're at a slight disadvantage. I was enjoying it, and then like the pacing got a little weird. So when I checked in with you last, I was like, oh, there was like kind of a steamy scene, but there was just like the one. And then we get to 70%. There are back-to-back-to-back steamy scenes consistently. There's like there's just a lot of sex very near the end, like all at once. Very aggressive sex, very leaning dom sub kind of sex, where like Chris had to put his hands in certain places and not move them. I'm just telling you this so you know if you're reading this. There's just a lot of it at that point. And then everything kind of ties up really fast. Like lots of sex. Then the mystery is resolved. We have... they did this in the other one too. So she really uses that like kind of miscommunication breakup element, or like a breakup element to like tie up the book. So like that happens, stuff happens, then the book is over. So like it was very rushed to me at the end, and I didn't feel like Kissmas was as rushed. I felt like the sex scenes were kind of laid out a little more consistently once they started, and this just felt like bam, 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 bam. And I was like, okay, like they've been flirting a lot, and so the tension has built up so much that they're like very like, we're gonna keep having sex, which is fine, but was a little awkward based on the other book. So not like my favorite pacing. I do like the characters. I liked Locke. And I did like Chris. I like spending time with Chris. Chris's story is more than just like the romance. It's him also leaning into discovering himself, learning stuff about himself. So his character development is very high in this one. There's a lot happening. Locke, we get some character development, about as much as Hex. So I can't really, say too much. I wish Hex had his own book, or like something was going on with Halloween so we could get more from Hex, because Hex just kind of like appears and is like hot Halloween boy. So I wish we got more of Hex. He's in this too, but only as like a very slight side character, because he and Chris aren't like friends exactly. They're friends because he's dating Cole, but they're not like independent of that friends. So yeah, so I wish we'd got more Hex. I wish we got more Hex in the first book, but I don't know. So it was okay. I would say read it if you liked Nightmare Before Christmas, and maybe if you like St. Patrick's Day, you would really like this one, but there's a lot of it in there, and I was like, oh, okay, like this makes sense. We did get a lot of Christmas, but like St. Patrick's Day, again, is not a holiday I'm like connected to, so it's kind of like, okay, this is fine. So yeah, it was all right. I would recommend it if you like the first one. I would recommend it if you really want some steamy scenes with two guys. But again, it doesn't happen until near the end of the book. So like that's, you got to get through the rest of it for the steam. But there is a lot of sexual tension. So like a slow burn, and then like very intense flame on consistently for a while. Kind of slow burn. But it was pretty, like, it was good. Not as good as Night Before Christmas. So I would say if you like that one, you should read this. Just so you know, because there's also some stuff about Cole in this. Like there's an extension of that story. I'm actually going to return this. And then I think what I'm going to read next, this is my thought, is a book I was gonna read for Valentine's Day, and I did not get to it. So I think I am going to read Blessed by the Cupid Distribution System. And this is by Robin Jo Margaret. I think this is part of a series, but it's a cozy and steamy lesbian paranormal romance, and I am very intrigued, and I believe it's pretty short. I showed you the cover so I can go to book details. Since we're like doing a holiday kind of thing, yeah, it's 94 pages, so this is basically a novella. So this will be a fun time, and I'll see if I like her writing, because I know she has other books. I'll look them up after I read this to see, but I am intrigued, and I was going to read this on Valentine's Day, and I just did not get to it. Also, like, this coupling looks incredible, so I am very intrigued. She probably has a list in the back of her other books, so Oh, it is dual perspective, Iris and Jaya. And I will talk to you more about it when I read it. So we're going to do Blessed by the Cupid Distribution System. I'm going to keep saying that. Yes, I'm very sorry. Slice of life, low stakes, feel good story, but still touches topics that might be upsetting for some people. Ooh, okay. It involves animal mutilation with fish, mention of cheating. There's explicit sexual content, public sex, and unprotected sex, and frequent mentions of food, ableism, and mentions of asphobia and transphobia are listed in her content warnings. There's probably a little bit more that I skimmed over, but there you go. But yeah, so I'll read this sometime today. It's pretty short, so I'll be able to knock it out in the evening, I think, or possibly during lunch. We shall see. But I'm gonna go. I will talk to you later, gremlins. I'm gonna try and rest my hand a little. I did totally hit it with my Kindle, like the iPad. It hit me. I'm also playing booktube videos that got posted over the weekend. I've made it through Kayla's. I had up, so like Books and Lalas. I have Katie Colson's on. I have Jan Agaton's to watch still. I have Gavin's to watch. I think that's everybody. I watched someone else. Becca in the books. I watched hers. Though she's like reading, she reads a lot of fantasy, and sometimes I'm not super into the book she picks, which is not on her. It's just like sometimes I vibe with what she's reading and sometimes I don't, and that one I like watch more of the slice of life stuff and kind of like wasn't really paying attention when she talked about Valor because I'm not going to read Valor. But yeah, so I'm gonna go. I have work things, but I wanted to check in with you again. Go Luck Yourself was fun. I was enjoying it. Just Night Before Christmas like really did it for me. I just really liked Cole and Hex, and like this one was still very, very fun. It just like there was a lot at the end where I was like, oh my gosh, like woof, 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 woof. Like just a lot happening all very quickly, but again, still good. Yeah, I gotta go. So I'm gonna drink more coffee. The handle on this is a little awkward, so I'm gonna drink out of this awkward handled cup, and I will talk to you about Cupid distribution systems later, gremlins. One sec, I am still taking a sip of coffee. All right, I will talk to you later today, gremlins. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hello, gremlins. I am back. This is the end of my workday, but I did manage to read Blessed by the Cupid Distribution System? I keep saying that wrong. Over my lunch break. And oh goodness, I had forgotten. So I'm very sure that I got that book based on like seeing other books by that author on Spicy Cat's channel. And yeah. It's basically it's paranormal smut, really. So in this, Jaya is a Cupid, and did I read you the description? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, I don't remember. But Jaya is a Cupid, and what she winds up doing is she chooses Iris for Valentine's Day because they're supposed to like pick someone to help on Valentine's Day. And instead of helping her meet a partner, while talking with Iris is basically like, could you be my date for the day? So that's what they decide to do. They're going to be each other's dates. And we watch them go through a series of dates that all escalate into romance in the spicy variety. So there's a lot of that. It's a short book and there is a lot of spice. On top of that, this has some really good rep. So we don't really get a personification for Jaya. I feel like if you're a Cupid, you may be pan or gender or like sexually fluid. They don't really get into that, but Iris is on the ace spectrum, but does want to try like sexual things. So that's what happens in this. It's sort of like testing the waters, feeling comfortable. That's sort of what's going on. Iris is also identified as trans, which I think I read something about transphobia in the trigger warnings, but I didn't really think about it. But she is. So that was pretty cool. I did not even clock when I was reading it that one of the characters would be trans. So I don't know. I thought it was very short, very steamy. So I was like, oh my gosh. There are also some very cute date moments. But yeah, definitely paranormal smut. I kind of looked at the other ones, but none of them were like striking my fancy. So that's the only one from this author I'm going to read, at least for now. I'm going to return that. And then the next book that I'm going to read is a book I've had on my, I know I'm like out of frame kind of. I've had on my KU for a while. And it is, there we go. Outdrawn, a rivals to lovers romance. Jordaline read this, and I think that's how I found out about it, or she recommended it, I'm not sure, but it just sounds interesting. I haven't read the description because it's KU and I don't typically do that, but I'm very intrigued. So I'll fill you in at some point. I'm going to read this one a bit slower, so I don't know when I'll talk to you about that. We're going to be hanging out once we do the dogs and stuff, and having food from an Irish restaurant in town. Krista actually like picked up the stuff at lunch because it would be easier because we're going to be wildly busy today. And we had some stuff for lunch that was just like, we had like ahi tuna nachos and this like portobello mushroom. And then for dinner, she's having a Reuben and I'm having corned beef with potatoes and cabbage and carrots and stuff. So we're having a very Irish dinner. And then Krista has Guinness and I am probably going to have a cider because I have this really good like mead style cider that I'm going to try. Well, I've had it before, but then I'm going to drink while I'm having this. But yeah, so that's the update. Like it was a fun short time. The book with the long title about a Cupid. And I liked the characters. There's a lot of consent. There's a lot of like them testing and making sure everyone is cool with everything. So it was nice to read. And there's a cat cafe, which was very cute. But yeah, so Outdrawn will be the next book I read. I'll get to that probably sometime tomorrow. It's going to be like a very casual read process for this one. So I'm either going to like, I don't know if this is the last book in the vlog or not. So I'm just going to say like Outdrawn is the next one. We'll see how I'm feeling. And I will talk to you later, gremlins. I'll show you dinner because our food is really good and I'm very excited about it. So you'll get to see dinner and then we're just gonna be chilling. So yeah, I will talk to you at dinner time, gremlins. The puppies. Krista did this. So yes, she was sent home from work because she's sick, but she doesn't feel sick and she hates being non-productive when she isn't sick. So she did this wallpaper. This is 5 pieces. Can you even tell that that's not one singular piece? It looks so good. It's so cute. The dogs are so cute. But she did a really good job and I was gonna show you and I forgot. I'm also going to show you the food. This is so cute. So cute. I'll take you to the kitchen to see the food. But yeah. Also, music is loud. Puppies are listening to it. Behold Krista's insane open-face Reuben. This is nuts. She didn't know it was open face. But this explains why it looks so messy in the to-go container. But this is crazy. And it comes with their Irish potatoes. I think that's what they call them. Mm-hmm. They're just like fries. Oh, ha. There you go. Mine's in the microwave. So I'll show you that in a sec too. Hold on. Wait for food. Krista also did this little like window of wallpaper on our basement door because it's over the dog leashes. Also, please don't judge this area. It's very messy. And then we did a little piece there. It's very cute. The dogs are very cute. They all look like they've seen something. Except that guy. He's a little dumb. Alright, I'm gonna go show you my corned beef. Please hold. That's a lot of cabbage, yo.
It's just a chunk of cabbage.
Yep. Oh, this is gonna be crazy to eat. Crazy to eat. Alright, gremlins, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna eat. Bye for now. Hello, gremlins. I'm doing a very like Schitt's Creek day. I have my David sweater on. I have my Schitt's Creek coffee mug. Not that anything I'm doing today is Schitt's Creek related. I don't have a book update for you. Last night, Krista and I finished Temptation Island, which we were watching on Netflix. So we finished that yesterday night. And then this morning, I finally watched Heretic. So, okay, I wanted to see Heretic in theaters, and Krista wanted to see We Live in Time, the Andrew Garfield Florence Pugh movie. And we initially were going to go to the theater and for the first time ever go see separate movies. And then like none of that worked out. So we wound up watching We Live in Time a while ago on whatever streaming service is on right now. So we've already watched that one. And then right after my surgery, Heretic was like a deal rental on Amazon. And so I rented it. And then found out like a week later it was going to be on Max, which I was kicking myself because we already have Max and I could have just watched it on there. But I rented it and I wanted to at least watch it during my rental window, and it has been almost a month since I rented it. So I played it this morning, mostly before work, and then I like let it keep playing while I was finishing up, like starting up my day. But Heretic was interesting. I feel like that movie has no rewatchability though. Like once you watch it once, like that's it. I wanted to watch it because it's like a religious horror movie and I was interested. Hugh Grant is in it. Oh gosh, I even looked at her name and I'm gonna forget it. But young Natalie on Yellow Jackets is in it. And I really liked her in Companion. We watched that one too right after my surgery. Like, cause she was like, you watch whatever you want. And I was like, oh, Companion is on rental. And she was like, yeah, we can watch it. So Companion was very good. I feel like Companion actually does have more rewatchability for me just because of how that story is told. I think we actually might have bought it. Maybe. I don't remember. Heretic was interesting to watch. I like the discussions of religion in it. I did find parts of it interesting. Also, Topher Grace is secretly in it, I think, as a Mormon man. It was very random. But I did enjoy it overall. But I just like, it's not a movie that I would watch again. Like, as soon as it finished, I was like, that was a good one-time watch. Not something that I'm going to consistently pick new things out of, just because of how it's set up. If you didn't see the trailers for Heretic, that one is that there is women, it's two Mormon missionaries. They kind of schedule things, like they meet people, those people give them their addresses, which I think is horrifying, and then they bike to these houses, and one of the people that they met was Hugh Grant at some point, and he wanted to get more info, or maybe he put his name in at the temple, I don't know, but they wind up at his house, and then it all turns into kind of a horrifying game focusing on religion. And by game, I just mean like they're trying to figure out what's going on once they get there. Do not think of this as like a Saw level thing. I initially, when I saw the trailer, thought it was like a religion movie in that there is a labyrinth, and I don't know that that's 100% correct, but I don't want to spoil anything for you. So there's like locked room aspects and stuff like that. So it was interesting. I enjoyed watching it the one time. Again, not watching it again, but it was interesting. If you like a religious horror, I would suggest it. That's the only reason I wanted to see it. I was intrigued to see that young Natalie, whose name I cannot remember for the life of me today, was in this in Companion at about the same time. So that was cool. And it was interesting seeing her play two different characters, but like, I do not think I would rewatch it, just because once you've watched it once, you know what's going to happen. And like, you know that with a lot of movies, but there are things in this that if I like watching it again, I don't think I would enjoy it as much. Like I don't think I would care. So pretty solid. It was decent. But yeah, so I'm just checking in real fast because it's the start of my lunch break. So I just want to give you that info. I'm going to try and read some of Outdrawn. Krista has night court tonight, so I'm going to be hanging out with two of the dogs in the system that I've discussed in previous videos. Because my hand, I can't have like all dogs out at once with me because I can't like play with all of them. I can't really pay attention to all of them because I can't use one of my hands. So two of them are going to come up and hang out with me, and like I'll watch some TV, I'll read. So I'm hoping to get some stuff read today. But yeah, also this is very sweet, but oh gosh, spooky little book nerd tagged me / mentioned me in her video, like a get to know me booktube tag. So that was really fun. I need to do that video, so I'm gonna try and figure out when to fit that in or how that's gonna work, because I have a plan for like a long, like my standard long form stuff coming up, and I'm trying to figure out when I can like squeeze it in where I can like sit down and have the time. So yeah, but I gotta go. I need to start taking my lunch. I will talk to you about Outdrawn when I get to it, because I will fill you in. I'll give you some kind of synopsis because I know I didn't give you one, but I'm gonna talk to you later, Gremlins, sometime today. Okay, hi Gremlins, super quick. So this is my update so far for Outdrawn. I am not very far in it at all. I read like 2 chapters during my lunch break, but I'm liking it so far, so I thought I would tell you. So the setup of this is that Noah has been hired for a brand new job as a co-head, like art director, creator at this comic company called Harpy. In her free time, she does a like mermaid webcomic, and it recently just got super popular. It has been doing consistently very well, but she did something unexpected and it skyrocketed. And this person named Kraken, who's been like reading, is like well known on the webtoon scene, webcomic scene, even commented on it. So what's interesting is she kind of has this unknown rivalry with someone named Sage. And it turns out that Sage also works at Harpy Comic, and they're going to actually be working together because, of course, forced proximity. It also turns out the two of them know each other. So this is like former friends-ish is how I'm getting like a vibe. Like they were pretty close, but they didn't keep in touch. They didn't really, she even says like we drew in each other's sketchbooks, but we didn't have each other's numbers. So I find that very interesting. But the two of them knew each other. They went to an art program together for a little while and like college together. So they've worked together. Even though they haven't worked like together, they have worked on comics in the same, like art / comics in the same vicinity. And they both know the comics exist on this like website. So they're butting heads right now because Sage is pissed that Noah was brought in because she didn't know someone was being brought in immediately to start working with her, even though her boss is like, we totally talked about this. I don't know why you keep thinking I didn't tell you this in advance. So they're going to be forced to work together on this character who is getting kind of a rebrand because Harpy really wants to make her bigger. She apparently debuted and she hasn't done as well as they wanted her to, so they're hoping bringing on some new talent will assist with making the comment even better. But now that's also feeding into Sage and Noah's rivalry because Sage is like, I've already planned a bunch of stuff, all the character designs are set, you don't really have to do anything. And Noah's like, they interviewed me and one of my ideas and one of my design thoughts, so I don't know what you're talking about. I think I will, like, I'm gonna be on this comic with you, our names will be together, and eventually I'll be above you. So that's totally what's going on right now. Oh, my battery is dying. But that's all we really have. This is definitely an enemies to lovers kind of situation, and I'm loving it because it's comics and it's fun and the banter is already delightful. But I gotta go, gremlins, because this battery is flashing bright red and I need to charge it. So I'll talk to you later when I'm further into Outdrawn. That might be tomorrow, that might be tonight, I don't know. I'm gonna talk to you later when I have a charged battery, gremlins. Good morning, gremlins. I did tell you that I might not be able to update you until this morning, and that was 100% true. So, sorry, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee before I keep talking. It is before work, but Krista was at court last night for so long. Taking a sip. This is my very fun local library coffee mug. I'm having Tiana coffee, which is delicious. But, anyway, Krista had court last night, and sometimes that means she can like leave for a little and we can eat and then just like go back. No. Yesterday, she was at court from before, like, I'm gonna say like about 5, and she did not get home until like almost 9:30, and I didn't eat dinner. She didn't eat dinner. So she like brought home Taco Bell, and we had Taco Bell at like 9:30. So we didn't finish dinner until 10 o'clock, and then we went to bed basically. But because she was at court for so long, I read a lot. Like, I was just hanging out with Chloe and Parker, and they were both napping. They, like, literally Chloe was asleep on top of me like the entire time. I just didn't film any of it because 1, my battery was charging, and 2, like, we were just sitting in the bedroom and I had the TV on. We were watching Holiday Baking Championship, which I do not normally watch anything like Christmas related outside of like November, December, sometimes January depending, but like Parker doesn't bark at it. He sometimes barks at like animals or like wild noises on TV, and Holiday Baking Championship doesn't have any of that, so I just play it and he like falls asleep. So that was on. But that does mean, because I was doing so much reading, I read all of Outdrawn last night. So I finished Outdrawn. This was so good. I recommend completely. So beyond the fact that I gave you like a mini little synopsis, the book, like, Noah and Sage like do go from a kind of enemies to lovers sort of setup, but it just like, they are so good together. Like, their dynamics are great, watching the two of them like walking through different issues they're having, not really like with each other. Their communication is like perfection, but they're also dealing with their own issues. Noah has a like hand issue. I won't really get into that, but she does have a hand issue. And then Sage has her own sort of relationship with work that has not gone well in the past, and so they're kind of both trying to navigate that, and also their like budding feelings for each other. It was just so well written. There are some steamy scenes, so I definitely want to let you know those exist. They're very well written, but it is such like, it was so good. I was just like eating it up the entire time. I was like, this is so good. These two characters are beautiful together. I am loving this. So it was really, really good. Beyond the romance, there is a lot of like growth on their parts. I will say you do get some like things happening in the future at the end. There is a little epilogue, and that's all I'm going to tell you, but it's really good. If you like comic books, also really fun, because while it's a made-up, they're working like a made-up comic company, it was just like really fun to read about, and like character development and storyboarding and all of that. And they do their own like webcomic, so it was like fun to hear the process. So highly recommend. Really good. So good. I don't typically reread romances, not super frequently, but I would consider it. I would consider it because this one was so well done. Now, because I did finish all of that one, I started another book. So this has been popping up a lot for the, oh gosh, I'm gonna forget. It's like the Trans Rights Readathon. My mouth cannot work today. So I am dumb and kind of forgot that readathon was happening. So like, I did my Transcendent reading vlog, and then like I'd planned a bunch of other stuff for this month, and I should have remembered that reading, like that readathon existed, and I completely blanked. So I'm gonna blame the fact that my concept of dates currently is just out the window. Like, I could not tell you the date unless I actively look at a camera. Well, you're right there, but a calendar? Good Lord. But I have seen this one popping up. So Make Room for Love is so far, I'm not wildly far in, I'm only 5 chapters in, or I'm on chapter 5. So we follow Mira, who is identified as a trans woman, who was recently broken up with her abusive boyfriend, and she winds up in a situation where she's living with mask lesbian Isabel. So, I'm not gonna get into it because they have kind of a meet cute, but Isabel needs a roommate because, they just like can't make the rent, and they were working like overtime to make it work, but they apparently have a knee injury, so they can't keep doing that. And so they let Mira move in. And then what's interesting about this is I know that this is a romance. Like, I know romance. This cover, very romancy. But so far, the book is more like Mira coming into herself after being in a relationship where she was so stifled. Then Isabel contending with grief over some things that have occurred, but also labor unions. This book is very focused on labor unions and is so interesting. So Isabel is a union electrician and Mira works at a college, and the graduate students and like graduate students, TAs, I think adjunct faculty, are all trying to unionize. And so Isabel is helping Mira now with the union stuff. And I'm just like, this is just wildly interesting. So I did not know that. Like, I went into it, I was like, oh, that'll probably be like back burner stuff. Now, I did see a tiny bit of a review that was like, this is actually a really solid book by itself. You like, even without the romance, like this would be a good read. And I am agreeing. So far, I'm like, well, if they get together, they get together. But also, like, I want to know how this whole plan you have is going. So it is interesting. Like, I'm just very interested right now in this. So I'm gonna read more of it. This Make Room for Love by Darcy Liao, I think, will be the last book of this. I do want to tell you to check out all of the like Trans Rights Readathon content that's coming out, because I literally forgot that it existed. I know it popped up on my timeline, like on my feed on Instagram last year. I just forgot. But I have a video with some trans recs. I'm reading Make Room for Love, which is a trans rec. I feel like I have more, and like my brain is soup. So if I think of any, I'll pop them, like I'll mention them to you. But so far, this is final book of the vlog. I will finish this and then that will be it. It is supposed to be like 84 today, so I'm wearing this because my office is gonna get really hot because I can roll up the sleeves. This is my very cool, I've never been to Sleepy Hollow, but we're in New York and eventually we're gonna go. So I'm wearing my Sleepy Hollow shirt. I'm drinking out of my Flower Memorial Library mug because support your local libraries. Yes, I understand I'm not reading any library books in this vlog, but my next vlog is all library books, and I do try to use library books pretty consistently when I can. I have some requests in, but they're newer books, so I won't get them for a while. But please support your local libraries, especially because some stuff came out about funding cuts from the federal government, and that's trash. So support your local library, and support trans rights and trans people and gay people and basically anyone you love who is a good person and does not deserve this. Okay, all right, that is enough of me yelling at you. I'm not yelling at you, gremlins. I assume that you're good people, you're lovely, you're wonderful, you support the people that should be supported, you protect the people that need to be supported, and you support institutions that need supported. Just throwing that out there. I feel like you would only be here if you and I kind of aligned in our views of the world. But yeah, so I'm gonna read more of Make Room for Love. If I think of any more recs that would fit for the Trans Rights Readathon, good lord, I cannot say that today. I'll drop them in at the end of the video. If I remember. Again, my brain is soup today. So yeah, gonna read more of this like on lunch and stuff, and then I think that is it. But yes, I will talk to you later, gremlins, when I have updates for you on Make Room for Love. Hello, gremlins. Okay, yes, you're in the same location. That's just what we're going with today. It is the end of my work day. I'm very tired. I came in, it was feeling great, and then just like a lot of stuff all happened at once. Then something like broke. It's been a day. I managed to read a little bit during lunch. I'm not gonna pull the book up because I have it set on my actual chapter and I don't want to deal with it. But I'm farther through. I think I'm on chapter 14. 14, maybe chapter 15. I am really enjoying it. It is definitely a very slow burn book. A lot of it is really just, I like this. This is not a complaint. A lot of it is the character development of our two characters, of Mira and Isabel. It's more watching their growth after events have kind of stagnated them or caused them to kind of pull into themselves. So that's been really interesting to follow. And I really think that's what the core of the book is. Isabel does have an attraction toward Mira, but she is not acting on it because she's like, we're just roommates. She just got out of a relationship where she was like living with someone, and like, I'm not going to do that to her. Like, that would be really uncomfortable. So like, I really appreciate that as a plot point. Like, she's actively like, no, I'm not making her uncomfortable. I want her to be comfortable in my apartment. It is also very warm out and very sunny. And so there are a million dogs outside today. A million. I have not even counted them actually, but I will promise you I have heard a million dogs outside. And all of the dogs in this house have been barking at the dogs outside. It's just been a whole time. So yeah, just a lot of things today. But I am really enjoying the book. What I could read. Very good. Very much enjoyed. Brain. What else? Just overall, very good book. Really enjoying it. Writing is good, characters are well developed. We're really only focusing on our two core characters. Some side characters have sort of popped up, but really just to kind of explain things for us. So like, there are some friends of Mira's, but they're not really in the story much. We've met some people, really only one person in connection to Isabel, but like, they're not key to the story. So this is really just a two-person story that you are reading. So you really only have to remember those two characters. But yeah, the writing is really good. The characters are really good. I'm really enjoying it. There are discussions of just being a trans woman in the world. There are discussions, again, I already told you there's a lot of discussion of like the union, but it's kind of tapered down a little because it was also kind of just not used solely for Mira's development, but some of it was to like showcase Mira needing some help, like being vocal and confident after her relationship with her ex. So there's discussions of it, but it's kind of like dropped down a little. I'm guessing it'll pick up more as the story goes, but just a guess. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying it as like a slow, calm down read. Please note that I got so overwhelmed today. I also hit my hand, which did not help my mood. One of our cats, so our cats like to steal toilet paper. Only two of them are male cats, are two male cats who basically look like Maine Coons, but are a little smaller. They steal things. Primarily the one that actually kind of looks like a raccoon. His name is Binks. I typically love him, and I do still love him, but he was consistently grabbing the toilet paper out of this. So we can't have it on a roll because they destroy it. So we bought these things ages ago that you put the toilet paper in. It has a lid on the top, and we put a weighted thing on top of it. And today, for whatever freaking reason, he kept, while I was already dealing with a bunch of stuff, flinging things through the air in the bathroom to get to the toilet paper. And like so loudly that I thought he had broken things. And so I was like, okay, fine. I'm gonna turn the toilet paper thing around, because he's never done it like back to back, and he kept getting at it. He would not leave it alone. And I was like, I'm just gonna turn the toilet paper thing around. So it's like a skinny, tall, cabinet looking thing. It's not heavy by any means. I went to go put it back, like I flipped it around, went to move it back, all of that went fine. I hit my ring finger, this ring finger, on a cabinet real hard, and I screamed and shouted expletives that scared other cats because it hurt really bad. And so like I was irritated at some things that were like happening, which I was just like slightly short fused because there were a number of things going on. I still would have screamed expletives from the hit because it really hurt. But like, I just like, that was like a moment where I was like, oh my God, like today is now horrible. And like a lot of it was just like too many things were happening at once, and I was having to reiterate things that I had already explained for like the 80th time. And I just was slightly losing my mind. Also, Krista happened to come home at that moment, like right after it happened, brought me an ibuprofen and was like, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not. And so she was like, you're about to burn out. They're barking. I think Krista might actually be home. But the closer I get to burnout, the more short fusey my temper gets during work. And she was like, yeah, you're about to burn out real bad. And I was like, ugh. And it's just annoying to me because like I took a week off work, but that was solely because I was in and out of doctor's appointments and had surgery. So like I was resting, but also I was on medication. I was in the doctor. Like I was basically at a doctor's appointment or laying in bed in pain. So like not really a rest exactly. So it was just like that wasn't really restful, but I did have time off, and like I just like unintentionally a lot of things are going on. And the end of this week I'm going to be remarkably busy with work, like so busy I don't even know how that's gonna go. So I'm just like in advance stressed. And she was like, you should take Monday off, like you'll have been doing a ton of stuff on Tuesday or on Thursday and Friday. I am doing a fun thing with her on Friday. I think it's gonna be in the next video. I think that's my plan. Oh my god, they're gonna keep barking. Oh, I'm talking over them. You can tell how much they bark today because I'm just like, it's going in one ear and out the other, and I can't, my brain doesn't care anymore. So I'll be quick. You'll probably see the thing on Friday in the next video. I'm doing a thing on Saturday. You'll see that in the next video. But they are fun things that I'm looking forward to, but they're not like work related. They are fun things. So yeah. So I'm taking Monday off, mostly because I think I'm just gonna need to sleep or like not think about work for 2 seconds, which won't really happen because I'll still be thinking about work. But just stress. Just stressed. Work is stressing me out. And like I have a project I have to work on. It's a whole thing. I'm not getting into it. But like it's making my fuse very short at work, and then like making me very irritable outside of work. But I'm gonna go because they're not gonna shut up. And it's because there are dogs barking, and I think Krista's home, and I think our neighbor's dog is going absolutely bonkers. He's a tiny schnauzer and I hate him. He has no training at all, and he scream barks when he's outside if like the wind blows funny. So yeah, and it sets our dogs off because he barks aggressively. Like however he barks, it sets them off all the time. So yeah, so I'm gonna go. I am enjoying the book though. Make Room for Love is very nice and very cute and very sweet. My goal is to finish it tomorrow, but I'm gonna go. I'll try and update you in a different location for the end of this vlog, or like tomorrow's updates, because again, I want to finish this tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna talk to you later, gremlins. I'm gonna de-stress. I think we're going out to dinner to celebrate Krista completing PT and some other things. So I think that's the plan, but I'm gonna go. I will talk to you later. I'm very tired. Hello, gremlins. My hair is doing a weird thing. I'm wearing a very uncharacteristically plain shirt, but I have a book update for you. So this is the final update of the vlog. I have finished, oh, I gotta pick it up. Come on. Make Room for Love. It always takes it a sec. Maybe it'll focus on the cover. There we go, kind of. I finished Make Room for Love. My hair is doing a weird thing. I put dry shampoo in it because Krista is actually working on our bathroom. She's like adding tile and doing some stuff. So like we don't have a shower rod up right now, and I was like, I'm fine, I can dry shampoo it, I just need to be able to shower Friday night. And my hair decided today that it just did not want to cooperate with that plan. So it's like parting in weird places, it wants to do strange things, it's the whole time. And then it's wildly hot today. That's why I'm wearing this like super generic shirt. This is like a sunscreen shirt, so it's the kind you can wear outside, and it protects you from the sun. It has like UV protection, but it's so plain, but I just know it's a cool shirt because I've worn it in the summer. So I was like, I'll wear that today. That should help because I hadn't committed to like wearing a t-shirt yet. But I really need to fish out some of my shorter sleeve shirts because it is getting very warm very quickly. But to make room for love. That actually sounds like a thing someone would tell you to do, like make room for love. I did finish it. It is a very, very well written book. So I would read other things by Darcy Lau. Wow. I really need to like, I'm looking down because I kind of wanted to see if I could get it to show me like other books by the author, but I couldn't do that right now because I would have to bend like this and you wouldn't see me. It's a whole thing. So where was I? I think I was at like chapter 14 or 15 last time I checked in. The book is still slow burn, and oh, I wanted to show you my coffee mug because it was definitely influenced by this. So I'm using a C3PO coffee mug today because one, weirdly enough, I was like, oh, electrician, C3PO, because he gets built by Anakin in episode 1. And then I was like, oh, on top of that, they are talking about sci-fi a lot. They don't talk about Star Wars, but I still was like, C3PO. Also, the Heretic randomly mentioned Star Wars, so I think it was just in my brain. So I'm using this cool C3PO mug. This is technically Krista's, but she doesn't care. I steal her mugs all the time. Taking a sip of coffee, I will continue. So, I know I'd already given you the premise. I will say, the book, they're gonna bark because there's a loud car outside and probably a delivery. Of course they're doing this in the final clip. We're gonna keep rolling because they're gonna keep doing this all day because people are on bikes. They're in their loud street cars. There are deliveries happening. There are dogs everywhere because the weather is nice. So we're just gonna talk over my dogs. The spice level definitely picks up, for sure. This is a romance, so at a certain point, feelings are revealed. Super, super steamy. There are a lot of scenes, very spicy. We get more of discussions of getting through your like trauma or learned behaviors from situations that did not benefit you. We do dive more into Isabel having to give up control of some things, which was very interesting to see. Also, there's a moment where she can't really use her hand, and I was like, oh, I feel you. I definitely feel you. On top of that, we get a lot of Mira coming into her own. I'm not rolling my eyes at that. I'm rolling my eyes at the fact that they are not going to shut up. And I'm just like, I give up. This gets worse in the summer. Like, they bark at everything in the summer. Every single thing. So all my video clips are going to be like this as it warms up. They will be, because I won't be able to make them be quiet. So that's how that's going. No, there's nothing that needs a delivery, like a signature today. They're still loud. Okay, I'm gonna have to go see if I need to sign for something. I will be back, gremlins. Hi, I'm back, and I think UPS thinks I'm insane. So, it was a UPS box. That was it. Tiny tangent before I get back to the book. The dogs were barking like someone had been on the porch, which they normally only do if like someone's coming for a signature or something like that. But I went out on the porch, there's no like, we missed you. And I'm like, did anything even come? Were you just barking to bark? No, UPS used to put our packages on our porch. Like, they would bring them up, they would open the door because we have a closed in porch, but the door is always unlocked. They would slide the porches onto the box and they would leave. Or the boxes onto the porch and they would leave. For some bizarre reason, since I hurt my hand, they keep leaving the boxes on our steps, and I can't always pick them up because like they're too wide or they're too heavy, and I can't like push them up the stairs one-handed. Like, I can't do it with my feet, I can't do it with this, and I can't hold a box with this hand. Like, I can like balance something on my wrist, but I can't push with this hand because of the injury. So I kind of yelled, I can't pick up the box, very loudly, because I was already like telling the dogs to be quiet, and then I was just like very frustrated that I couldn't get the box. Like, I was like, I don't even know if I can get this in my house. And he heard me because he was 2 houses down, which I didn't realize. And all I heard was like, huh? And I was like, because it's not like he was gonna come back. But I had to like kick the box and like lean, like I was like crouching on my steps and like pop the box into my arm using my elbow. And then I walked into a box that was on the porch that we've had on the porch. It's a furniture box. So I like wound up walking into that and hurting my leg. And I was like, this is why I don't understand why you're not putting it on my porch. And the whole time I'm like yelling and kind of screaming because like the angle I had to move my hand to pick up the box hurt really bad. Because like they're really sensitive. So sometimes if I move too fast up or down, my hand will be like, ooh, why'd you do that? And that's what happened. And so I'm like yelling and making a ton of noise. And I was like, I really don't care at this point. Like, this is uncomfortable and physically painful. And I don't understand why you couldn't, like, he put it so high up on the steps, it was by the door. So I don't understand why he couldn't just like push the door, push the box. He didn't even have to close the door. Like, he could have left the box in the door and that would have been easier for me to handle. Because they did this yesterday too with a way bigger box that I basically had to open on the stairs, take all the contents out and walk the contents into my house because I couldn't get the box off the steps with stuff in it. Like, I couldn't get it up or down because it was fragile. So like I couldn't push it down. I couldn't push it up. Like, it was just sitting there and I'm like, I swear this is the most frustrating thing in the world. And I don't know why they're doing it because they used to bring it on the porch. So I'm like, did you just like not understand? Like, I can't lift things and Krista's not home. So like she can't even do it. And I'm not leaving a porch on our steps because people steal stuff in our neighborhood. So I can't just like leave it until someone with hands comes by. So I was like, this is annoying. Anyway, there is a package coming from FedEx and hopefully they actually put it on the porch because I'm just like, I'm not gonna be able to lift that one. It's heavier. I know the other box is heavier. And I'm just like, I don't want to deal with that. So a little grouchy about that. But book. We do get into Isabel processing some of her trauma, more of Mari processing hers, and the two of them kind of working through communication and stuff like that. So it is a very well written and very mature romance where there's a lot of communication, there is a lot of discussion, there is a lot of like very spicy moments between the two of them, but also moments where the two of them have to understand like how to talk to each other, and Isabel determining like how she can talk without being kind of not pedantic, but how she feels that Mira's ex was. So I really, really enjoyed it. I loved both the characters. There is an epilogue, I will let you know, but it's not, I thought we were gonna get the wedding in the epilogue because there's a wedding mentioned. It's not their wedding, there's just a wedding. That didn't happen. And then, like a lot of ebooks, there is a section that says bonus epilogue, but it's a link to like the author's page or to a mailing list where you can get an additional epilogue if you want. It's normally like a small novella to get you enticed into like signing into a mailing list, and I did not do that, admittedly, but I'm intrigued. It did say it was a spicy scene, and I was like, that's okay. Not that I have anything against a spicy scene. These were very well written spicy scenes, but I was just like, I don't super need that. Additionally, I like where we ended, and I would like to see the characters again, but I think this is a one-off. So I really enjoyed this. I read so many books in this. Say a Little Prayer, still my favorite of the vlog. I am very sure if it's not my favorite book of the year, it will be in my like top 13. 13 is my favorite number, so I do a top 13. It just will be. It's been my favorite queer romance of the year so far. And I did Go Luck Yourself, which was good, but you definitely have to read Nightmare Before Christmas first. And I did like Nightmare Before Christmas a little bit more. I also want that Iris book, dang it. You can read, I did notice it's on KU. You can pre-order that Wizards book if you're interested. I don't know that I am or not. So I didn't pre-order it on Kindle. We'll see how I'm feeling. Maybe I'll want to during Pride, because I try and read a ton of queer romance in June, so we shall see. What else? Oh, the Cupid distribution one. That one was just like a spicy dang novella. Like that was paranormal romance smut. So well written, just like, whoa boy. And a novella, so very short, very smutty. Oh gosh. And Outdrawn. Outdrawn was also very well done, very mature, very communication focused. So I also did really enjoy that one. I do think if you liked Outdrawn, you would really enjoy Make Room for Love and vice versa. So I would recommend those to you. Also, Say a Little Prayer was just good, and I want everyone to read it. So please read it so that I feel like I have spread the message of Say a Little Prayer and religious themed bisexual romance. I think that is everything. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. So if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. The next vlog is going to be way different in terms of reading material. I'm not going to tell you. I will say buzz gremlins and see if you can guess, but I think that's it. Oh, I'm also on Instagram. I always forget that. Same thing, Clef Go Ever After. Also check out Spooky Little Book Nerd, because she recommended a ton of people's channels and did a video that you should watch. I am going to try and do that like get to know me vlog video before the end of the month, but I want to get this like specific vlog that's coming up done before I film that, because one of the books is very large and I just want to like get started on it and work on it, and then I can focus on doing like a fun sit down video. So yeah, I think that's everything. If you have queer romance recommendations for me, let me know in the comments, or queer horror. I keep asking people to recommend me queer horror if they know any. So yes, queer romance, queer horror in the comments below. I think that's it. So I will see you in the next video. Bye, gremlins.